Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday briefing. It's Wednesday, October 9th, 2024, and it's just about a minute after noon. We do have some breaking news, so before we get started with our guests, we're going to talk about our breaking news with regard to the Piney Fire and the evacuation zones. And so we're going to put up a graphic right now to illustrate where those evacuation zones are, but it's important to understand that there are two evacuation orders in place right now, and those are noted on the graphic on the side where it says evacuation orders. These are orders that are issued by the Monterey County Sheriff's Office, and those were effective yesterday. And those are zones D074-B and D076-B. And then there are three evacuation warnings, and those zones are listed also on the screen under evacuation warnings. And a warning is to let people know that they need to be prepared to leave their homes or their dwellings, or if they're camping, whatever the case may be, at a moment's notice. But these are not orders at this point, they are evacuation warnings. And we're going to put up the maps right now to give you some indication of where these areas are. And as you can see in red or dark pink, those are the evacuation order areas surrounded by the three areas that are under evacuation warning. And so this is a rugged terrain area. It's not densely populated by any stretch of the imagination. However, there are approximately 12 dwellings in one of the zones that folks, if they live there, they need to be out of their homes in the event that the fire should encroach on their property. And what's important to note is that with fires comes smoke, and there's a lot of smoke due to this fire. And we do have a health advisory out right now for those people may be impacted by the Piney fire. And so for folks that have sensitivity to respiratory conditions such as asthma, COPD, diabetes, kidney disease, or heart disease are encouraged to go to the temporary evacuation point, which is located at the Carmel Valley Library. That's the Carmel Valley Library at 65 West Carmel Valley Road. There's air conditioning there, there's water, and it's a good place for respite and a good place to get up-to-date information with regard to the Piney fire. And as well as CAL FIRE is updating their website on a regular basis. Our Department of Emergency Management is updating their social media pages, as well as the County of Monterey's main social media, Facebook and Instagram. And our health department is also putting information on their social media platforms. And so there's lots of information available on the various different social media platforms that the county has. And so we ask you to look at those platforms, as well as for those in the public that might be hearing this briefing, to listen and watch your local news for the most up-to-date information. And so now we'll go back to what we have set up for you today. So we have a very full agenda today, and we're so pleased to have Alma Sanchez from the County of Monterey's District Attorney's Office, and she's going to talk about the Witness Assistance Program, and she is the Witness Assistance Victims Assistance Program and at the Monterey County District Attorney's Office, and it's going to talk about Domestic Violence Awareness Month and also talk about the Family Justice Center located in King City. So Alma, welcome to the briefing. Sorry we had to start off with the fire, but I'm sure you can appreciate that being in law enforcement. Things come up.
Yes, thank you. Is it okay if I do a screen share?
Absolutely. Please do share.
Uh, let's see. Did that come through?
We're looking good. Yes, there it is.
Okay. So again, my name is Alma Sanchez, and I'm the program manager, and I wanted to focus a little bit about domestic violence. And as you can tell, domestic violence awareness is a national awareness month, and the color we celebrate or wear is purple. This year's theme is Heal, Hold, and Center, which emphasizes the power of community standing together to hold victims in a space of compassion and help them raise their voices. And the importance of domestic violence nationally, more than 10 million people will experience domestic violence in a year. In California, 35% of women and 31% of men will experience domestic violence, which includes stalking and sexual assault. And it really is a time for the community to come together, support victims, and remember those who have died as a result of a intimate partner violence. A little bit about our victim unit in Monterey County. We have 13 staff members, one program manager, two coordinators, 8 advocates, and 2 legal secretaries. 2 of the 8 advocates, their entire caseload is domestic violence. In 2023, there was over 1,200 victims of domestic violence that were assisted. And for this year, we're already at over 1,000. The services provided by the unit, we will assist with the California victim compensation applications, which victims of domestic violence are entitled to receive. For the fiscal year 23-24, the state processed over 7,000 applications related to domestic violence and paid out nearly 7 million in benefits, which includes medical, dental, relocation, counseling, security cameras. The advocates do a great job with victims in providing them with updates. We explain the process, call them after court dates to explain what happened in court. If they're required to appear in court or if they'd like to appear in court, we will provide court support and make one of our facility dogs available. Every once in a while, we might have to intervene with the employer, assist with victim impact statements, court-ordered restitution, property return. We do assess a victim's needs and refer them to other local resources if it's something we're not able to provide. We will assist with the criminal protective orders, transportation to and from court if necessary, and we will explain their victim rights. For 2023, there was over 6,000 services provided to those 1,200 victims, which is pretty impressive. Our lovely facility dogs, we have Odie, Norma Jean, and Armani. Odie is going to be 14 in February. She is retired, but she still comes in and provides great support to victims during meetings. She won't be in the courtroom, but she does go into meetings here within the office. Norma Jean will be 4 on Friday, and Armani, our newest addition, is 2. Odie has been here for going on 11 years, and in those 11 years, she's actually met with over 1,000 victims, and she's been in court over 100 times supporting victims while they testify. She's still a favorite, and Norma Jean and Armani are quickly trailing behind her, but Norma Jean and Armani are great additions. Norma Jean is actually Odie's successor. So she's taken over Odie's role, and Armani joined us earlier this year and love little guy. But we will make a facility dog available to victims when they come in, children of domestic violence as well. They are a great support for them. Holding on to hope. That is our Family Justice Center, opened earlier this year in King City. And the design was actually created by CSUMB students, and the colors selected very special to crime victims: the purple for domestic violence, the blue for sexual assault, and the teal. The blue for child sexual assault, and the teal is for adult sexual assault. And the purpose for a family justice center is one building where different providers and partners can come together to provide victims with resources. The primary victim served at a family justice center is domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, elder abuse, and human trafficking. Domestic violence is probably the crime type that we see the most, and it provides legal, medical, shelter, therapy, childcare, just a different variety of resources without them having to travel to different places. In King City, there are probably 10 partners on a rotational basis that come in and utilize the facility to provide those services. But altogether, the Family Justice Center has over 30 partners. And I believe that is it. If there are any questions.
This is great. This is a tremendous service that the county's offering through the district attorney's office. And I just can't imagine what life would be like for victims of violent crimes or domestic violence without that type of service. Alma, maybe paint a little picture of what it might be like. What would people have to go through in order to get all those services had it not been for the forward thinking and innovation of our district attorney's office?
Coming together, most of the advocates here have very many years of experience. Our elected Janine Paccioni is a big supporter of victims. She definitely believes in the program and in the services available and made available to victims and us connecting with those different partners. But without the services for victims, I mean, just last year, the number of victims that actually came through our unit was over 3,000. It just so happened 1,200 were domestic violence, and that's 37% of the victims we're assisting, which is a large portion. But our elected DA is definitely pro-victim.
That's tremendous. And, I know that there's probably future plans for expanding services and whatnot. Can you look into the future, what it might look like for the district attorney's office and the services that you're providing?
Absolutely. So the goal is to expand a family justice center to the peninsula and Salinas so that what's been created in King City can also be available in the different areas so that victims can only need to travel to one place and not various places. So the goal of our elected DA is to expand towards the peninsula and in Salinas for victims to receive those services.
Yeah, that's tremendous because obviously being a victim of crime is traumatic enough, and then having to kind of sort out all the various different services in multiple locations just adds to that anxiety, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it's important for victims to know that they have a support system and the knowledge and experience of being able to guide them through difficult times in the aftermath of something so difficult. And domestic violence doesn't only affect victims, it affects the community as well. There's children who might have to step in and help protect a parent from an abuser, or a neighbor who has to hear screaming and yelling for help. So it affects more than just the direct victim.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, Alma, I want to thank you and your team at the District Attorney's Office, in particular in your unit. I know it's a tremendous asset to our community, and I appreciate the work you do, and I know everybody else in our county does too. So, if you want to stay on for a little while, and we'll see if we have questions after. And of course, if anybody would like information about Domestic Violence Awareness Month, you can contact the county at pr@countyofmonterey.gov, and we will get that request to the appropriate people in Alma's office. So thank you, Alma, for your time today, and stick around in case there's questions later on.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to go out of order a little bit because we've just been joined by our chair of our Board of Supervisors, Mr. Glenn Church, who is the representative from District 2 in Northern Monterey County. And Supervisor Church is going to give us a little sneak peek at the county strategic priorities and an event that he's hosting on October 16th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. via Zoom. That'll be coming up, and we'll be putting out a media advisory for that right after this meeting this afternoon to make sure that as many people in our community are aware of that and can attend. Welcome, Supervisor Church. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to be with us.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you for the introduction on everything here. And that is correct. October 16th is a week from Wednesday, I believe it is, between 6 and 7:30. We're going to have a strategic priorities discussion here from the county on a forum, which we're hoping to get as many people in as possible from the community. I'll be there, of course. There will also have a number of people from our departments such as Parks, Public Works, Department of Emergency Management, as well as others who will be there to provide information and answer some questions that anybody may have at that point. What we're doing this because, as many of you know, the on this November's ballot is Measure AA, which the Board of Supervisors put on and few months ago. It is to have a 1% sales tax increase in the unincorporated area, and it is only being voted on by unincorporated voters. We felt it was important to put out information so the voters would be as informed as possible about the challenges that the county is facing ahead financially. And the county has identified a number of priorities that it feels it wants to focus on, which I'll be happy to go onto this. But as you know, as we look ahead here, as I mentioned, we are facing some difficult financial times. And when the county has to make various cuts, this all has to come out of the general fund. And there is a disproportional impact on the unincorporated areas because this will affect a lot of services that such as roads, animal control services, sheriff patrols, a lot of infrastructure issues, parks. So we can rattle along a lot of these that the county provides these services, while many of these services for urban residents are provided by the cities, of course. So when these cuts are made, these are funded from the unincorporated budget, and when these cuts are made, it comes from the general fund and affects generally the unincorporated residents. What I wanted to really kind of address here, and what this forum will be addressing, is the 5 priorities that the county has laid out and the impact that these potential years ahead of here, we face these financial situations and how we're going to deal with them may have an impact. So we've listed out a number of priorities, which would include road repair and infrastructure projects that we're putting down as things that we feel we have to continue to have funded. This would include bridges and potholes and failing public facilities and infrastructure that may be going on. We're also have listed as a second priority water, sewer, and particularly I should really focus on the wastewater infrastructure projects that many unincorporated communities have to face, because when we look at unincorporated, we're talking about a lot of rural folks, but we're also talking about small communities such as San Ardo, Castroville, Pajaro, but as well as unincorporated areas in Carmel and Carmel Valley. Part of the other priorities that we've listed here includes recreational features such as in our parks, which have been slowly coming back from some tough years over the last few decades. There's also some essential mandated county services and programs addressing housing affordability, reducing homelessness, providing healthcare services for children and other vulnerable individuals. And of course, we also have emergency management response services that includes the Sheriff's Department, Animal Services, and emergency communications. These priorities will go out in more detail on the 16th, and we'll also lay out what could be some long-term impacts if our funding situation is not really improved. And we want to do this, as I alluded to earlier, so that the voters on the November election really have all the information that they need to be able to make factual and intelligent decisions on really what kind of services they're going to want and the quality of life that they're going to be seeking here in the future. So I do want to say that the board has made a lot of steps here in the last year on focusing on a lot of unincorporated services, such as improving up our road budget, and these are all things that will be available for discussion. So I think, Nick, I've kind of touched upon most things here, unless there's anything that you feel you want to add to this.
Great. Thank you, Supervisor. And also we want to emphasize, I'm sure you'd like to emphasize the fact that everybody is invited to this event, not the media, the general public, stakeholders. We want as many people to engage with the county leadership in this virtual Zoom event.
That is correct. Yes, everybody's invited. We want to have as large of a number of participants as possible. And I'll say we will have an opportunity after everyone gives roughly a 5-minute presentation, which should probably go for about 6:30. Excuse me, for about 6 to 6:30, and then we would have time for questions after that, which would be entered into the chat, and we'll kind of conglomerate them as much as possible into similar subjects so we can keep as much information out there as possible.
Great. So I know Supervisor Church, you need to go to another appointment very, very shortly, but I'm going to break protocol and ask the media if they have any questions for you at this particular point in time instead of waiting to the end. If anybody from the media has a question, just please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, I'm not seeing any, so that's good. Supervisor will make you on time for your next appointment. But thank you so much, and we'll be getting out a media advisory this afternoon on this event, as well as posting it on social media with a QR code and the Zoom link so that people can easily attend from the comfort of their own home or their office. So have a great afternoon, Supervisor Church. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick, and have a good afternoon, everyone.
All right, so our next topic this afternoon is the Pajaro Community Grant Program that is being administered by the Community Foundation for Monterey County. And we have with us today Laura Lee Alexander from the Community Foundation. Hey, Laura Lee, thanks for being here. We also have Laura Emmons available to answer any questions from our Department of Emergency Management. But for the most part, this is Laura Lee's show to kind of give us an update and talk to us about where things are at with this grant program and some of the results you're seeing. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Hello, everybody. And just a correction, my name is Laurel, and the last name is Lee-Alexander.
My bad.
I'm so used to this. That's okay.
Well, taking glasses on and off didn't help either.
That's okay. You can call me anything. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm here to present a little bit of information about our Pajaro Community Grants Program. So this is me. And as you all know, last March, an atmospheric river brought so much damage that it resulted in the breach of the Pajaro levee. And $20 million was allocated to the County of Monterey to support flood relief in Pajaro. The county has set aside $2 million of this funding specifically for the Pajaro Community Grants Program. And the county is partnering with the Community Foundation for Monterey County, and I'm here to present a little bit of information about this grant program. Here are the requirements and restrictions. All funding must stay in Monterey County and is for the benefit of Monterey County residents in Pajaro. Organizations with administrative or corporate offices outside of Monterey County must have a presence in Monterey County and serve Pajaro residents. Grant funding and awards cannot be commingled with other funds or put into an organization's general fund. Any one-time funding must be invested into an enterprise that will not require further public funding or subsidies. And the funding is not for duplication or replacement of benefits available or received through other existing assistance programs. We have a very long list of funding priorities which were developed in partnership with community input. So I'm not going to read this slide. And after this presentation, Nick is going to send a copy of this presentation to all of you. And there's also information on the Community Foundation's website that has more information about this grant making program. So this lists the other funding priorities. Grant requests can range from $10,000 to $100,000. And nonprofit organizations can request more than one grant as long as the requests are not duplicative of each other. So again, I'm not going to read this long list, but as you can see, the priorities range very widely and includes things like the environment, trees, community art, mental health services, recreation. We tried to be as inclusive as possible for these priorities. Here's the review process. There will be a committee of community representatives, one County of Monterey representative, one youth representative, a local business representative, and that's a minimum. There could be more than 3 on the committee. The applications will be reviewed by the committee, and the committee will provide recommendations. The County of Monterey has the final decision-making authority for grants. The due date is coming up. It is Friday, October 18th or sooner. We have realized we have experience with grant making, and generally applicants wait until the very last minute, sometimes the very last hour to apply. We've created an online application in our portal, and most nonprofits are used to this because this is how we make grants. And so we've tried to make the application as simple as possible. So the deadline's coming up, and we already have some applications in draft. So that's a really good sign. Here's our award timeline. Grants will be announced on November 22nd. The grant period will be from December 1st through September 30th, 2025. And all funds must be fully spent by September 30th, 2025. Again, the due date for applications is October 18th. Here's the website that provides more information about this grant making program. And if anyone has any questions, they can reach out to me. Also, Nick Zafaratos is on our call right now. He is our COAD manager. COAD stands for Communities Organized Around Disasters, COAD. And then the lead staff member for this program is Michael Castro. He's our Director of Community Initiatives and Partnerships here at the Community Foundation, and this is his website. So again, this is the information on our website about Pajaro grants. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them now, later. You can contact us, or you can wait until you get the information from Nick about the program. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. And of course, it goes without saying that the beauty of what the Community Foundation for Monterey County does is it gives money, it grants money to folks, organizations in our community, and that money stays locally, which is super important. And the investment going back to the community has been tremendous. I'm sure you've seen that in other programs. Can you talk about the potential impacts of what this grant program is going to do for the community?
This is great for the community of Pajaro. Some of our other funding has been for Monterey County, or specifically geographically. We have the Northern Monterey County Foundation Fund, which provides grants in Northern Monterey County. We have the Southern Monterey County Foundation Affiliate Fund, so that provides grants specifically for that geographic region. Big Sur, Carmel Valley, these are all specific geographic centric funding. And this one is really important for the community of Pajaro. And $2 million is really substantial for this community. We're really proud to partner with the county on this, and we're hoping that the process is as smooth and simple as possible.
And for any nonprofits that might watch this briefing later, get your applications in. Don't wait till the last minute.
Please.
All right. Well, thank you, Laurel, for being here. And Nick, thanks for being on as well. And of course, I know Michael's off this week, but thank him for all his work on this project. And of course, if you'd like more information about this, be on the lookout for the email you'll get from me after this meeting today, as well as reaching out directly to the Community Foundation for Monterey County, or contacting myself here in my office at the County of Monterey. So thank you so much again to the Community Foundation.
Thank you.
All right. So we have a big event coming up in October. In fact, just in a couple of days, we have Salinas Valley Pride, and with us today is Liz Gandora from the County Public Health Bureau, as well as Eric Moore from Salinas Valley Pride, to talk about some of the things that the Salinas Valley Pride and the Health Department has have teamed up for to provide during the celebration that we're having here in Salinas. So welcome, Eric, and welcome, Elizabeth.
Hi, I'll kick it off with a brief overview of the event. Thank you so much for having us. Salinas Valley Pride is celebrating our 14th annual Pride event this Saturday, October 12th from 11 to 3 p.m. at Salinas Central Park. We have free parking at Hartnell College across the street from the park. And we're really excited about this partnership with the Monterey County Health Department, with CDPH to offer Mpox vaccinations. In addition to that, we'll also have free rapid HIV testing and Hep C testing in a partnership with Access Support Network, and a lot of community resource tables and opportunities for people to know about resources that are available to them. It is a celebration, so we'll have lots of performances as well. And one of the cool additions to this year's celebration is our theme, which is Spurs and Sparkles. So please show up in your best Western wear. Because Pride has always been there's been an activism element to Pride. We're really excited to host the California LGBTQ State Legislative Caucus this year. Every year they do tours of various parts of California, and we're really proud to say that this year those legislators will be joining us for Salinas Pride to get a glimpse of the realities that LGBTQ rural community members face. And here, rural is broadly defined, right? I think sometimes people think of the label rural, and it's one that they're apprehensive to self-describe as. But in the past, they visited Fresno, they've visited Stockton. So there's an opportunity for everyone to find enjoyment at Salinas Pride, to find health resources at Salinas Pride, and to meet our local legislators as well. So I'll pass it on to Liz to talk a little bit more about the actual pop-up clinic, and just wanted to say thank you so much for this opportunity to promote Pride.
Great. Hey, Liz.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you great.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Eric, for introducing Salinas Valley Pride. And we wouldn't be able to provide this resource without Salinas Valley Pride and all the organizing that you all have been doing, because as a requirement to collaborate with California Department of Public Health, that is actually a requirement that we get a big enough crowd. And so thank you so much for really doing all the groundwork to make this possible for us. I'm going to go ahead and share a few slides if that's okay with you all.
Go ahead.
All right. So as mentioned, my name is Elizabeth, or Liz Gandara. I am the health program coordinator here with the Communicable Disease Prevention and Control Unit within the Public Health Bureau. And I particularly work on the HIV STI grants that we get from the state. And so very much working with California Department of Public Health on all of that good stuff. So it's happening Saturday, October 12th. Please come by. Like Eric said, wear your best Western wear. I'm super excited for the theme, and we're here to celebrate all of our loved ones, our allies, and just being able to exist and belong. And so a part of the offering that we're going to be out there doing is collaborating with the Turnkey program through California Department of Public Health. They go out into local health jurisdictions and they go to events that are going to be well populated, and they provide this resource free to the local health jurisdiction. So they're out here free to us to provide vaccinations, and they have their staff that come and vaccinate, and all that we provide is the actual vaccine and of course our physical labor. We're also going to be out there providing naloxone and fentanyl testing strips. And so that is also another part of our programs, is to ensure that harm reduction is always at the root of our sexual health and our supportive services. We'll also have tons of condoms and lubricant distribution materials, information, and resources. And not only is it going to be us with HIV and STI programs, but it's also going to be our needle clinic, specifically Deb, who is a PA there at the needle clinic, and she'll be out there sharing information about PrEP, HIV testing, and different forms of care as well. As Eric said, Access Support Network will also be out there providing HIV rapid testing. They are one of our county subcontractors, so we love that they're always out there at all the community events doing testing and outreach. And additionally, one of the last resources that I did want to share is the Take Me Home free or a quick in-home HIV test. I believe that I shared this last time that I was invited to a media briefing, but it's always a good opportunity to sort of reiterate the importance of testing. Everyone should at least get tested for HIV at least once in their life, and it's just something that is important to care for ourselves and care for others. This is a free, confidential resource. And it's an amazing resource. Essentially, you just go on this website, you put in your address and your information, and you get a confidential package in the mail, which is a rapid HIV test that has a value of about $45 at the store. So you get that completely for free. And within 20 minutes of collecting an oral swab, easier than the COVID test, you have results. And so it is a really wonderful, wonderful resource that tests for the HIV antibodies. All right. And we're also going to be promoting that, of course, tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, Saturday. And then this is just a little flyer, just to kind of describe what the resource is. I don't know if there's any questions at the end, but I'll be sticking around to answer any questions related to Mpox or related to the Jynneos Mpox vaccine. But essentially, we want to just reiterate from what CDPH has also said that Mpox is still here. People still get Mpox, even if the rates are a lot lower than what it was in back when there was the surge. It is still important to get tested if you feel like you are at risk. Anyone can really get Mpox. But there are certain communities that are at higher risk. And so, we'll be out there providing that resource. There aren't a lot of places in Monterey County where you can currently get a Jynneos Mpox vaccine. And so this is just a great opportunity.
Great. Well, thank you, Liz, for that information. That's terrific. And, it made me think that so much about public health is education. And a lot of the services that you provide out this weekend, as well as day in and day out, is educating folks. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, just from my own example, and this is something that I'm like super open with everyone about. I ordered that test myself, and that's why I advocate and provide information about that is because it gives you security, and it is extremely, like, people don't realize how easy it sometimes can be to get tested. And but because of the stigma and the judgment that is usually associated with all of that, it sometimes becomes very hard for us to get to that even step of just requesting or ordering a test. And so education is super important and is a great way to prevent disease. And then if we are infected or we have an infection or some sort of disease, then to seek help and support from our health providers who are amazing and here for us.
Yeah, it's so important, just taking that step and getting over our own insecurities and our own anxieties make things a lot better. And of course, from a public health standpoint, we want people to be healthy in our county, and we want people to be open to talk about things and seek out the help as you indicated when needed. So thank you very much for being here. Eric, I know it's a labor of love with Salinas Valley Pride for you and being on the board. What are you most excited about this Saturday?
I tell people all the time that our event is such a reflection of our community. I really appreciate that it's, everyone bringing what they can to the table, right? Down to Hartnell College giving us the parking structure, California Water Services giving the truck that brings hydration station. It really feels like the spirit of community is really what I'm looking forward to, right? It's the drag artists giving their talents, the health department providing critically needed education and services. Really, it's everyone coming together and bringing the best of what they have to offer. And that's what I love about it. That's what I'm most excited about. And certainly the outfits. I'm really actually selfishly looking forward to seeing everyone dressed up in Western wear.
Well, that's great. And of course, obviously, the County of Monterey will be well represented on Saturday, won't they? All right, great. Well, Eric, thank you so much. And Liz, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And so last but certainly not least, again, from our county health department, behavioral health has launched a community survey. And the community survey is to help make our community healthier, to get input from the community. And with us today, we have Shannon Castro from the Mental Health Services Coordinator and Dustin Anderson from Eval Corp, a contractor that is helping us do the survey. So welcome to the briefing, and I'm not sure who's going to start off, but either Dustin or Shannon. But let's learn more about this survey and why should we take it.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate the welcome. And like you said, I'm here to talk about the community program planning process that's currently underway within Monterey County. The community program planning process is a fundamental part of how every county across California identifies the needs of their residents and provides services to meet those needs. So through this process, we every year gather perspectives from community members, stakeholders, service providers, and other system partners to shape the system of mental health care in Monterey County, with the ultimate goal informing data-driven decision-making about mental health services within the county that are, purposeful and responsive to current community needs. Past assessments have led to greater levels of outreach and services to South County residents, facility needs for individuals with serious mental illness, greater collaboration with system partners across the county, and even more informed decisions around the flood or associated with the floods in Tahoe Valley. So for the community program planning process, there are 3 ways that we engage with the community. And the first strategy is a set of focus groups that seek to understand the perspectives of vulnerable populations within the county. Over the past few years, we've been very grateful to have partnered with community organizations, city partners that have helped us organize groups with veterans, individuals affected by the floods, individuals experiencing mental health illness, LGBTQ plus population, youth, older adults, African American males, Latinos, Latino population, and indigenous populations. So obviously to engage with that broad of or that diverse group of county residents, you need strong partnerships. And so we've been very grateful to have those. Our second strategy, which Nicholas just talked about, is our current priority within the community program planning process, and that's our community health survey. Last year, we were able to hear from over 1,000 community residents through this survey, and this year we're hoping to grow that number by 10%. We need your voice in this survey. We need many voices in this survey, and we're hoping that every individual here listening to this presentation briefing will take the survey, but also help distribute the survey to their friends, coworkers, family, neighbors. We would also really appreciate any effort to bring special attention to the survey to vulnerable populations and individuals who have experienced services, mental health services, or have a family member who has experienced mental health services or needs services. Our third community engagement strategy involves inviting the entire community, including anyone who has participated in the survey or focus group, to listening sessions that are held in various points across the county, South County, Salinas area, and hopefully the coastal regions this year as well, so that they can one, hear the findings from the survey and focus group, so they can hear how the data was aggregated, synthesized, and what the findings were. Also learn how Monterey County Behavioral Health is responding to the findings. What decisions are they looking into or have they made? But also give individuals a chance to provide any final thoughts to be considered for the program planning process. I've named a few groups that we've been able to partner with, but I can't emphasize how much we appreciate the support that supervisors have contributed to this process, community-based organizations, city governments, and other system partners have made to help make this community program planning process a success every year. We hope to continue to increase collaboration and community and community participation so that the Behavioral Health Bureau can make the most informed decisions possible every year. So thank you for your time and continued support. I'll invite Shannon Castro from Behavioral Health to chime in with anything I missed.
All right. Thank you, Dustin.
Hello, everybody. So Dustin's correct. We are really working on growing our collaboration with the community. And Dustin and I are actually tag teaming today. I'm in Greenfield. I don't know if you can hear the music that's happening inside of the senior center. But the city of Greenfield welcomed us into one of their community events. There's more than 100 seniors inside having lunch, dancing, singing, and they're also getting valuable information from agencies. So one of our goal is to get as many groups to complete the survey. Tell us what is necessary for their area of Monterey County, and South County has been one of the areas that we've focused on for the last couple of years for many reasons. And we're just happy to be able to do this work, but we can't do it without your support. One of the things that I did want to mention is there's an opportunity for you and your agency to distribute the survey and learn the voice of your own area. What are the needs? Are the needs more behavioral health services as far as clinicians, doctor services, medical services? Is it housing? What can we do for our programs? How can we enhance our programs? A couple of things that have come out of these assessments have been some really great innovation projects. We've launched Wellspring Monterey. We're launching a psychiatric advanced care directive. We are moving forward with a facility build in Salinas that is necessitated by the community needs. And so anything that your agency or your clients see as a need for behavioral health, this is what we want to hear. So with that, I'll just open it for any questions.
Oh,
Thank
and
you.
how to get the survey. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that as well. The survey is posted on the CEO's website. It's also posted on Monterey County Health Department's website. So, and I will drop my contact information for Shannon and someone from our team in the chat. And you can feel free to reach out for help distributing the survey to, a listserv, or if you have any questions, we're happy to help and assist.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask, I mean, if somebody in the community gets the survey, we want to encourage people to share that link as well. I mean, so we want the survey to go viral, so to speak.
Mm.
So Shannon, maybe talk a little bit about, mental health means so many things to so many people, and, breaking down the barriers and to understanding, what mental health means and how many of us, certainly could use support from time to time. Can you talk about what you've learned from these surveys in the past and how that's helped to, shape programs or shape outreach efforts?
Well, I'll tell you, last year and this year, we held focus groups for our stakeholders and for community members. And like Dustin said, we also reached out to various demographics. And a couple of those groups that really were high emotional meetings were with our youth at the Epicenter, with our veterans at the Veterans Transition Center, and with our adult males in Seaside at the Village Project. And these meetings and these groups were people just shared exactly what it means to have a mental health illness and look for services, the good and the not so good, and not only for themselves, but for their family members. We've learned so much about what the community needs, as basic as updating our website. I mean, something so simple. We found from the community that our website just needed to be friendlier, and that would help a lot of people. Like I mentioned, we use the assessment for program building, but we also use it for innovative ideas and innovative projects, because what they're suggesting to us hasn't been tried yet. And so we're trying out new ideas and trying to get the community services that they desperately need. I would say that what I'm really excited about this year is that our collaboration is really growing, and we're seeing people interested in putting their voice to a survey and giving us an opportunity to hear them.
That's great. I mean, the nice thing about the survey is you're creating a dialogue with people, and it's a two-way conversation. You know, Dustin, obviously your firm has got a lot of experience in doing these type of things, and just creating that vehicle for people to provide input. How important is that, and how have you seen it change communities?
Yeah, that great question. I really agree that when people can feel heard, then some healing processes can begin. And like Shannon just mentioned, some of our focus groups are high emotion focus groups where people can share, not just frustrations, but also successes. And we hear what successes have been, had, and we can build off of those. We hear what challenges have been experienced, and we can help mitigate or overcome those challenges. Even in a survey where individuals can share what they feel their top needs are, share what they're seeing in their communities, and provide narrative to include about their experiences as well. There's a sense of feeling understood if you know that somebody's doing something with that information. And that's why we've had listening sessions for the last few years after these focus groups and surveys have been collected and analyzed, because we feel like that opportunity for individuals to come and hear that their feedback was not just heard, but also understood and also acted upon. That's really when a lot of healing takes place, trust is built, learning about what opportunities exist for them within the county, and what services they're eligible for, or their loved ones are eligible for. It just opens up doors for action. And that's what I see very regularly across these needs assessment processes, is in that final step of, okay, here's what we heard, and here's what this means, and here's what's going to be done. Then people feel understood, they're more engaged, they trust the county more, and the stigma around mental health or substance use decreases and is more normalized. So and people just, that builds readiness for services for them or their loved ones. So I know I don't know if I answered your question. Healing is what I see, and that's what we're going for. But also improvements in the system, which Monterey is always committed to 100% every year.
Great. Well, thank you, Dustin and Shannon, for being with us this afternoon. And I'd like to mention that Liz and Alma, if you would share your slides with me after the briefing so I can get those out as well. And if you have other material, Shannon or Eric, Dustin, you send it to me and I'll put it out with our follow-up for today's briefing. Just a quick reminder that if you are looking to get information, up-to-date information on the Piney Fire, to look at the county's social media, both Facebook and Instagram, as well as tune into your local news for the latest update on the Piney Fire in Carmel Valley. I'd like to thank everyone for being here this week, and we welcome you to come back next week when we have another great briefing scheduled for next Wednesday at noon. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.